Okay, it's Halloween. It's about to be Halloween, right? And when it's almost Halloween, there's a lot going on with Halloween. That means that there's a certain type of film, these horror movies with these horror movie iconic villains, right? Horror movie iconic monsters, villains, monsters, whatever you want to call them. So we're going to talk about our Rushmore, our top four of the horror movie villain, or AKA slash monster. What do you think, Tommy? What do you think? You got a shirt on there.
I got Michael Myers right on my chest, and I can't wait to go. This is like my favorite time of year. You've got Halloween, you've got scary movies, you've got football on TV, basketball starting up. What a time to be alive, guys. So I'm really fired up for this one. We want to hear what your favorite horror movie monsters are, so drop them down. There's so many iconic scary faces to pick from.
It's Halloween and we're creating havoc, man. And we've got all the top monsters in history of movie business right here, man. So take us on, Rossi.
All right, here we go. Listen, this is a tough one because there's so many classic ones, and yet to me, there's a certain Rushmore right off the bat because obviously there's multiple sequels. There's a ton of ones that come right to mind. For me, again, being an 80s kid, I've said it a million times, the hockey mask is synonymous. Jason Voorhees with Jason. It's very hard not to show that classic hockey mask and immediately take you back to Camp Crystal Lake, even if you don't know the movies. I'm not a giant horror film person, but that mask, that music, that everything clicks when you see that typical basic Jason mask. And that's how you know it's iconic. So to me, he has to go, if not at the top, he's right there on every single list. So Jason Voorhees, I would take that to the grave. Yeah.
I gotta fall way forward on that one, man.
I'm all the way in, bro.
Everyone at Camp Crystal Lake better watch your ass. That's all I got to say.
Where is Camp Crystal Lake? Anybody know? Where's
Jersey?
Jersey. Is it Jersey? Oh man.
Yeah,
well, no
Jersey.
wonder why they're killing everybody.
No wonder why. All right. Well, that's good. That makes a lot more sense. I didn't know where it was. What do you got, Tommy?
You know, it's kind of like a two-headed monster of horror for me, especially if you go back to 80s horror. So I got to go with the other big dog, and that is the one and only Freddy Krueger.
Whoa.
Yeah,
All
Freddy
right.
Krueger. He belongs. I feel like if there was
Nice
currency of the
That was a
horror
swerve.
genre, yeah, I swerved you because of the shirt. If there's currency because of the horror genre, you could put Freddy right on the $100 horror bill, because to me, it doesn't get better than Freddy. So iconic, and he's one of these guys too, where like you could never even see Nightmare on Elm Street, but if you're like, whoa, that guy looks like Freddy Krueger, you know that's a scary dude.
He's super. You know what I always felt like with Freddy? Because I had the 6-foot poster in my room because I was deadly afraid of him, and I thought that would be a way to conquer it. My thing was he was a bit of the rock star of those guys. Like he was like the
Sexy.
yeah, like the Judas Priest of all those guys didn't talk. They were quiet. They were like chasing people down, murder, and he was more like the court jester of these villains. And I feel like he put a totally different spin on them. Usually you didn't hear villains or monsters talk in a way that was like, he was almost making fun of people all the time.
He was mainstream, man. He was mainstream. And actually, I made a movie with Robert Englund, who played Freddy Krueger a long time ago. And he told me, man, in the mid 80s, late 80s, he was at like every A-list Hollywood party. Like he was part of the fiber of Hollywood. Like it was cool to have Freddy Krueger at your party.
He's and V. Yeah. I mean, he did V in Fort Fairlane. He's a great actor. I've had lunch with him. He's a great person, and he is Freddy. And he made that character. When you say an actor makes a character, like no offense to Jason, anybody could play Jason, anybody could play Michael Myers. Like you really can't do Freddy without Robert Englund. That's my whole deal.
Yeah.
All right, what do you got, D?
Man, I mean, if you said Jason, you had Freddy, and my man's wearing the Halloween T-shirt. I gotta call Mike out, man. So it's Michael Myers, Halloween the original. Boom.
The original
with the theme song, man.
Way forward on that.
What year is that?
1978.
Yeah.
Is he the start of this kind of genre, like the 80s horror? He's kind of like he's
the
Genesis. He's the genesis.
godfather of horror.
I mean, before that,
movies.
you had Jaws, you had The Exorcist, and all that.
But he's
like
the single.
this,
Yeah.
yeah. And what's so funny is they just had everyday names: Jason, Michael, Freddy.
So crazy. And again, the way, obviously the acting in it, the way it's shot, the behind the scenes of that movie, I think that's on one of the movies that made us is incredible. Because that's just a movie that should have never been made. Everything went wrong, no budget, and yet it turns into this absolutely incredible. And I know a lot of people shit on 3. I love 3, even though
shout out to Jamie Lee Curtis getting her start in that one. And just Michael Myers is the man. I mean, the simple jumpsuit, the crazy simple William Shatner mask. I mean, what's not to love about Michael Myers? Look at him, damn it. Come on now.
I'm going for my number 2. Just because it was such a big deal when I was young. I'm a big fan of the actor that played him. I'm going to swerve you all up here on my 4, but it's Candyman, Tony Todd.
Ooh, yeah.
Very nice.
I'm a big Candyman fan. I just love the whole thing. When you can get people that's like, if you could fuck with people's mind to a point where you go, don't say his name 3 times. And like that almost becomes like urban legend from a movie. You know what I mean? And you're literally as a kid going, no, you say it. No, I'm not saying it. You say it. And it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole thing is you're getting the audience involved.
That's
They're
right.
getting involved. They get to play the game.
Audience
with you.
same. And again, same with Freddy. Don't go to sleep. Right. It's that whole thing. Same with with Jason. Don't go in the lake. Right. You're thinking about these things.
It lives beyond the film, the fear that it instills.
That's crazy when you think about that. Like with Candyman, you're sitting there. If you ever catch yourself in the mirror and you're like, I'm just going to fucking say it. You're with your friends. And then you're like,
reluctant. You're a little
reluctant, even though you know it's a movie. I've met Tony Todd. Like, the whole thing. But man, I just loved everything about that movie.
I remember before Candyman was made, there was a theme of was it Bloody Mary that they used to kind of have that same thing?
Bloody Mary.
You couldn't say Bloody Mary in the bathroom like 3 times. Man, that was kind of I think the genesis of where it was derived from, at least urban legend, at least.
Yeah, and again, creating that single character that you know is going to appear is frightening. It's incredible.
Yeah, I got a chance to direct Tony Todd in my second movie, Army of the Damned, and he is just one of the coolest cats. He's got that Scott Hall level of cool. He's like that's our measuring
the barometer.
Measuring stick.
The barometer.
Yeah,
the barometer is the Scott Hall level, and Tony Todd's got that going on. So he's just the man. And I gotta say, man, why didn't they make like 5 or 6 of those movies?
I don't know. It had to be something weird with that. They tried to do it recently. I wouldn't.
Yeah. Like that's the type of film they could have just rode that out and made like 5 of them, 6 of
them. Again, Tony Todd is Candyman, right? So like, don't try to do it. Like, just you got to.
Maybe Tony didn't want to keep doing it. That's probably what it is.
Yeah, I agree. What do you got, Tommy?
All right, number 2. This is tough. I'm going to kind of go in a slightly different direction here because this movie's, it's still a horror movie, but it's really more of like a psychological thriller. But he's
don't Matrix it. Don't Matrix.
Baddest man on the planet. No, you can at me, bro, if you don't like this one. Too. I think people will agree. Dr. Hannibal Lecter.
That's a good one.
He's
a monster.
I think it's a monster.
He's a monster.
I rock with that.
No, maybe.
Here's why I put him on my Rushmore. Because here's what I'm thinking. My Rushmore. This is my new thing with our Rushmore deal. Here.
Sure, let's hear this.
I'm thinking that
Moving
when
the
I make
goalpost.
my Rushmore, I almost my strategy is I almost want to make a team, as if this group were to fight together. How do they fill each other's gaps? So I've got Freddy. He's going to get you while you sleep. And then I've got Lecter, who's kind of the mastermind. He's like the smartest one out of all these people here. So he's the brains of my Rushmore operation of movie monsters. But yeah, I love the movie. I love the actor, Hannibal Lecter.
It's a good one.
I love it, man.
I like it.
It's
different. It's good. You're classing up the joint a little. You classed it up a little.
I'm telling you, man, it's moving the goalpost, but it's all good.
It's all good. Yeah. Now I'm like Philip Seymour Hoffman from Mission Impossible. Like,
hey, come on. He's eating people.
I tell you what, man.
But it's not a horror movie.
Yeah,
it's not nobody's watching Silence of the Lambs on Halloween.
All right.
There's a Halloween special.
Look, man, if I'm making my Monstars team,
Yeah.
I gotta put my second draft pick, Leatherface from the Texas
best.
Chainsaw Massacre.
1974.
Man. Supposedly a true story too. But
Yeah.
you know what? That's the difference between Michael, Freddie, and Jason is that they kind of market that movie with the character. They didn't really market it with him. It was just the event, you know what I'm saying? Based on a true story type thing.
That actually scared the shit out of people because it's 1974. The news doesn't travel the way it does now. You kind of probably could have missed it, right? You might
People
not,
thought that was real, guys. They thought it was like a
people.
documentary on an actual killer, and I believe it
Well,
was modeled after Ed Gein.
It is
Ed Gein.
Ed
Gein.
Gein.
Yeah, Gein. Ed Gein is his
Scary,
name. Yeah.
scary guy.
And again, the way that low budget really helped them with the costume.
It looked great. Raw, man. Like
Just
when they pull up to the
raw.
gas station, they got all the fucking sausages and chicken and all whatever in the gas station, and then it's like really,
Listen, I'm gonna take it back old school just because and there's so many iterations of it, but I think sometimes we get ahead of ourselves and we leave things out. So this has led to everything, right? A movie we were talking about before we rolled, like The Lost Boys and all these other movies, it all spawns from Dracula, right? Like you have to put an old school.
Sure, Dracula's the man, dude. He's so sexy.
Yeah, and he's like the guy. Like he's the guy, right? And there's so many versions of him. And in those beginning days when people were figuring out movie villains in the beginning of movie making and filmmaking, and it's like Dracula is, the guy, right? Bela Lugosi and whatever, that whole thing. But the image of Dracula and what it represents,
was,
the undead.
Frank Langella was like the Dracula in many of the films in the 70s, right? Or 60s.
I think
it was a run. They made a, I'm going to look that up. They made a bunch of really great Dracula movies and like I believe
the originals 60s, are outrageous.
Early 70s.
And again, these are started in the 30s and the 50s, 1958 or something. But like that image, you go into a Halloween store, Dracula, cards, Dracula. It's just everywhere. And then it led to all this
vampires from there too.
Vampires, right?
Yeah,
there's no Blade if there's no Dracula. You know what I mean?
I mean,
sorry,
to me, man.
Correction, guys. Not to jump in, but Christopher Lee.
There it is.
Christopher Lee. Yeah, Dracula, there's been a lot of great Draculas and vampires. Christopher Lee. Obviously Chris Sarandon. From Fright Night.
Eddie Murphy, Dracula, Dead and Loving It. Was that it?
And obviously Gary Oldman.
Vampire in Brooklyn. Yeah, no, there was a bunch, and again, the one we just talked about with Lost Boys and all that. So I got to throw Dracula on the list.
I love it.
What do you got?
He's kind of the king, right? He's kind of the king. I feel,
He's the king. He's the king of all horror movie monsters.
Agreed.
He's the top. I mean, Monster Squad. He's the leader. He's the leader. He's the leader of the Monster Squad.
He's the brains
like
of that
Jason.
operation.
All them would bow to Dracula.
Yeah.
Oh, they would pay him patronage for sure. Like
he's the
guy.
Boss.
He's the star. You kick money. You kick money to him.
He's like the Bill Russell. Like he's the one who did it. You know
he's Mike. He's Godfather Michael. He's Godfather Michael.
You want to kill teenagers in this neighborhood? You got to give me a kickback.
Yeah. Dracula's getting a taste of everybody's earnings. Like he's the guy.
All the blood. He gets some of the blood. I think a big part of the horror genre is a little bit of camp and a little bit of fun, right? Along with all the terror. So I'm gonna go with my man, Chucky. Chucky was just a lot of fun. He's just a cute little bastard. I love how here's what's great about Chucky. He makes everyone around him fucking insane because he'll do some shit, start talking, and then he'll just become a doll, and you'll look insane.
Creepy, bro.
And he messes with you. It's like great. It's so cool that there's this like serial killer or whatever trapped inside of a little cute little doll. He's adorable, man. I love Chucky.
He has scars and stuff too in the later ones.
Oh, he gets messed up.
I think Chucky comes out of the toy craze of the 80s. Like
My Little Buddy.
My Little Buddy, Teddy Ruxpin. Like it comes out of that. Like without Cabbage Patch and all that stuff happening, you're not going to get Chucky, right? And I think
totally.
because the 80s is the materialism, right? It's all about money. Greed is good, money, products, everything comes from the 80s. 70s about free love, give it all away, do this, and the 80s is about greed and Wall Street, consumption. And I think that's where the doll and stuff comes from, because even in Poltergeist a little earlier was when the clown kind of came up, the doll, and you're dealing with that kind of scarier
stuff.
And
it's also like, I think these movies all prey on actual fears. I mean, I think we've all looked at a creepy little doll before and been like, imagine if this thing just came to life right now.
And that's the brilliance of it, is if someone has like a My Little Buddy, let's say you go to sleep at a friend's house and he's like, oh, go sleep in the guest room, and there's like a My Little Buddy on the shelf. You're gonna be looking at this thing going like, I'm not fucking sleeping in here. Right? Like, because you're gonna be thinking, it doesn't matter if you have 3 guns on you. You're gonna be thinking, what if this thing wakes up? So,
what if this thing wakes up?
All right, D, what do you got? Number 3.
I think for mine, man, I'm gonna go old school, man. My son's favorite, like, he's so like mesmerized by Godzilla now, man. So I gotta throw him on the list, man. Godzilla,
nice.
Man. Like,
I love that choice.
It's been going on for what, decades, dude? So
decades. Early, like, I mean, that's like around Dracula time, right? 30s, 50s, 40s, 50s, right? Starting in what was it? It all started in Tokyo, right? With
Yep.
I had the toys. I was obsessed with Godzilla when I was.
What's the deal? He breathes
My
fire,
son, dude,
right?
is like all about Godzilla.
I had the toy where you moved the back of the neck and the fire came out.
The fire comes out. Yeah. Yep.
What does he do, guys? He's got fire breathing abilities. Can he fly, or is it that he comes from the water?
Really
he swims.
He lives
underwater. Jumps really far. He lives underwater. Right.
He's got pretty
spikes
cool abilities
on his back.
Yeah. He whips his tail.
You're not penetrating that skin with regular ammunition or anything like that.
No, my kids love the Kong versus Godzilla movies, the newer ones.
Sure.
I mean,
they're good,
really
man.
fun.
They're pretty good.
They are good. Yeah, they're definitely
heavyweight.
good.
Everyone loves the heavyweight division, guys. No matter what you're
true. In. It's a big heavyweight division. And again, he's raining terror on everyone. And again, all the stuff that spawned off. I got to tell you, I didn't hate the Matthew Broderick movie, Godzilla, that everybody talked about in the 90s.
The late 90s? Yeah.
The one that Puffy did the theme song to?
Come with me? Yeah.
That was great. I used to work out to that song.
Yeah, I didn't.
Oh, it's great. It's like a cashmere sample.
Yeah.
Off Led Zeppelin.
Zeppelin with Tony Iommi. Yeah. Oh, no, I forget the guitarist.
Jimmy Page.
Jimmy Page. Yeah.
Great.
I remember them playing it on like MTV. The one with Carson Daly. They were all like on this balcony overlooking Times Square.
Yes, that was a cool video. Cool music video.
Yeah, that was it. Listen, it's a good song. The movie's not the worst movie in the world. The newer ones are way better.
Yeah,
those ones aren't the worst. For number 4 for me, super easy. I respect anybody who has this tattoo, and a lot of people do. I do a lot of Comic-Cons, so I see this all the time, and when it's done well, it's done beautifully. I just got to see a lot of them in Maine, and that is the original version of It, Tim Curry's version of Pennywise. There's a great band named after him called Pennywise. That version with the teeth and the way he looked was very approachable until he opened his mouth, until he spoke. And again, he put so many things, come down here when he's in the drain and he's telling the kids to come down, where it's what is it? What does he say? Come down, something like it's always happy down here or something. Or we all laugh.
Oh, they all float down here.
Everything floats. They all float down here. It all floats. I mean, the way Tim Curry played him is, again, he took some of the Freddy Krueger stuff where it's funny, it's approachable, he's talking to you, and yet it's fucking terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying, because clowns in general are terrifying, right? Because they're kind of unpredictable. And I have never seen the new one. I've seen a lot of what's Bill did, Skarsgård, and it's wonderful. But the clown already looks scary before he talks. So I'd be like, what's with that creepy clown? With Tim Curry's, you were like, that looks like a clown in a circus. And then he's terrifying. And
it reminds you of Bozo. If you guys remember, it kind of reminds you of Bozo that used to go to the TV show.
Terrifying.
Bozo the Clown,
Ronald McDonald's terrifying. Ronald McDonald was terrifying. Like, these things are, and they took that and made that. Stephen King took that so brilliantly, and Man, I love that. And it was a movie of the week. It wasn't even a theater release.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
I know.
It was.
It's crazy.
It was. Yeah.
John Ritter, the great John Ritter. Great movie.
All right, guys. Well, my final pick, I'm going to go with a little bit more of a contemporary icon of horror. And, these movies were really cool. I was the perfect age when they came out. And I'm going to go with Jigsaw from the Saw movies.
Never seen them.
What I loved about this character was, again, I love a good, intelligent villain. He was very smart, and he would trap you. It was all about trapping people in these horrible situations. And I think they call the genre like torture porn or whatever in the horror movie world, kind of ushered that whole genre in. We had movies like Hostel and all that other stuff. So Jigsaw, also that like little creepy clown puppet guy is just weird looking. I don't know about that guy.
That changed, that revolutionized.
Watch the first one, brother.
I love the first one's. The first one's genius, man. I never
really
watched
is.
the other ones, but the first one is like, I mean, it's one of the best independent films ever made, in my opinion. Just how creative it was. So,
and Demetrius, as a producer, you'll probably attest to this. I feel like that was the movie that like created the whole one location, actors, you can score in the horror genre. Like producers everywhere tried to mimic that formula. Yeah.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I'm going to go obscure on mine, man. I am going to go in left field, and I'm going to go with Jeepers Creepers. I don't know what the name of it is. You never seen it?
Yeah, no.
Everybody, you love that.
Everybody
let me check that for you.
Oh, man. I don't know what the creature's name is.
Justin, what's his name?
Justin Long, man. He was incredible in it, dude. Incredible.
It's called The Creeper. Just The Creeper.
The Creeper. There we go. I didn't know that, but I just know it was such a terrifying but fun movie, man.
Super awesome loyal following. Loyal following.
And the music, Jeepers Creepers,
made that old school song super scary, and I love it.
And where did they get that from? Halloween, when they're playing Mr. Sandman.
Mr. Sandman. Yep.
I mean, that's by the Cordettes, and the fact that's where we really learned about taking one song that like something scary, but playing like a happy song is fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
I mean, and then everybody, if you think about it, like even in Reservoir Dogs, when he's listening to like, the DJ and he's cutting off his ear, and then he's cutting his ear. They did that. People started doing that.
Steelers Wheel.
And I got to tell you, I don't know if Halloween's the first, but that they were definitely the one that went, wait, this is like a song the Ice Cream Man plays. Why is he killing people with this? And then it just
very unsettling.
Let me ask you this: so it was not creepy before the movie, right?
No,
the movie just makes it creepy. Yeah. But now you can't unhear it though for any movie, for like songs.
My kids love the Cordettes. They listen to Mr. Sandman all the time, but they haven't seen Halloween yet, so they don't understand.
It hasn't been ruined for them yet.
Yeah. All right, my honorable mention, super simple. I was with these guys this week, and I a couple of weeks ago, again, I don't know what day it is, and it's I'm really impressed with what they're doing with this little independent franchise that now is about to go big mainstream, and that's the Terrifier series, and that's Art the Clown. The guy Art the Clown that Damien and David and them created is fascinating because we haven't had a true like Halloween horror villain created in a while, right? And the fact that they've done it on a super low budget and taken this clown, again, it's a clown, fucking terrifying, uses the horn, doesn't speak, has those crazy teeth. I'm so proud of what they did, and that clown, that image has become super iconic. So Art the Clown.
I gotta watch it. I gotta watch that. I haven't seen them, either one of them.
Super gory.
There's two of them, right?
They're doing the third.
And my quick 2 cents on that is I can't stress this enough. Like less is just always more. Because that makeup is so simple and he's just so scary looking. And it doesn't take much, but it's so brilliantly
He's
done.
a mime. He looks like a mime.
Yeah, it's so simple but so scary. My honorable mention, gonna go with the franchise that really like took off for me. Like I watched all these movies in the theaters, and I'm gonna go with Ghostface from the Scream movie franchise.
I forgot about
that mask,
Ghostface,
man.
Damn.
Like, how many of those fucking masks do you think they sell every year?
Oh my god!
It's just like
they make a red one now. They make a red one.
So
they make it with multiple colors.
It's so weird how
Iconic.
the jawline is just twisted in a like
Yeah.
it's just a cool mask, man. I love it.
I'm surprised you didn't say The Rock in like Hobbs and Shaw or something after your first pick.
I deserve that. I deserve
Right. Oh
that.
man. Oh man. Dude, I gotta follow up Mother, man, from Alien. Mother.
Oh yeah.
Nice. Good pick.
That's a great one. I mean, that's a true fucking monster too.
Yeah,
That
right.
is like,
Wouldn't want to run into that in a
Sheesh.
dark alley.
Never, bro. Never, man.
it's a great honorable mention. Well, there it is. That's our horror villain monsters, our horror movie monsters, horror movie villains, whatever you want to call it. Doesn't matter. Just put them
Bad
down.
people, bad
Yeah.
creatures.
Bad creatures.
Bad things.
People
Bad
that
things.
make you
Scary
unsettled.
things.
Yeah. And, tell us your Rushmore. And if you lasted this long, why don't you head on over to the Patreon channel and we're going to continue this talk and talk about some really bad ones. I've been in a couple of movies with some ones that just weren't good. So let's talk about that. What do you think, Tommy? What do you
Oh
think?
man, I can't wait to dive into some of the bad ones because there's a lot of them. So please join us on Patreon, check it on out, and join the discussion because that's where we're gonna really break out some obscure fun ones over there.
Let's do it. Let's do it. And subscribe to the channel, right, D? Tell them what to do, D. Tell them how to do it.
Man, go subscribe, man. Get on our YouTube channel and subscribe.
Right now. That's it. That's all we need. Right there.
Tommy's saying, man. I'm just rolling.
That's it, baby.
All right.
Peace.
Take it easy and see you in the middle.